Thank you for tuning in to Tanaka TV, the best and future biggest fight channel on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that like, that comment, that subscribe button. We're trying to get this channel to over 2K subs by the end of the year, but we cannot do that. This channel cannot do that without your support. So thank you for those who support this channel, and thank you for those who will support this channel in the near future. I truly appreciate it. Now let's get into Julianna Peña and her performance this past weekend. But let's also get into what is next for Julianna Peña in that women's bantamweight division. So if we're going to start with Julianna Peña's performance, I thought it was a solid performance overall, but not Julianna Peña's best performance. I expected Julianna Peña to be much more volume-esque in her approach in this fight, and she just wasn't. I think that with her 2-year layoff, with her fighting Amanda Nuñes, who poses many dangerous weapons to women, I think that it had Julianna Peña a bit timid in my eyes at first. If you're comparing Julianna Peña to this fight and her past fights, she typically throws more volume and she's much more aggressive in her approach. And that's not what you saw here. I think that a huge difference maker in this fight was the fact that Julianna Peña took 2 years off. I think mainly because she was waiting for Amanda Nuñes. She went up against a woman who posed knockout capabilities, who was straight up starching women. She's the dark horse. Amanda Nuñes is. Nobody really wants to fight Amanda. And if you're fighting Amanda, nobody is really confident in the fact that they're going to beat Amanda or dominate Amanda. That is what Julianna Peña was coming off of. And so when you look at that, it translates in my mind to how she was fighting Raquel Pennington. Now, I was unsure of who won that fight. It really just depends on what you were looking at. I think Raquel Pennington did a great job at controlling the octagon. She got, I think, she at least hurt Julianna Peña twice. Really bad in that fight. But Julianna Peña, she showed her ability as a complete martial artist. She did pretty okay standing up, but I think the difference maker was Julianna Peña's takedowns. She got a multitude of takedowns throughout that fight, and I think that that was the true difference maker. That was the deciding factor for that fight, that Julianna was able to take down Raquel Pennington whenever she wanted. Now, if we want to jump into who do I see Julianna Peña fighting next? Now, I took a look at the women's bantamweight division, and there's really not a lot of options going on there. When I look at it, you know, that there's Silva, there's Irene Aldana, there's Holly Holm. They're sitting at number 8. You've got Vera, who just lost to Kayla Harrison, who in my eyes is the next fighter that is in line to go up against Julianna Peña. I don't think Julianna Peña really shows much interest in Harrison. I think that she really wants that get back from Amanda Nuñes. I just don't think she's going to get it. The UFC is going to set up Julianna Peña fighting Kayla Harrison next, despite the fact that Kayla Harrison has only had 2 fights in the UFC. Both wins, but just 2 fights. Holly Holm and Vera. Now, we're not talking about sleeper fights here. We're not talking about much of a build-up in the fights that Kayla Harrison has had. She has beaten the top 10 women fighters in that division. So when you look at that, I think Kayla Harrison in the current state of that division has something to prove when it comes to being a future women's champion. And now, who would I have winning that fight? I think that if we saw the Julianna Peña that we saw this past Saturday, I think Kayla Harrison is going to win. If we see the best of Kayla Harrison. Now, I think Julianna Peña has a bit of a striking edge, but there's a massive edge when it comes to Kayla Harrison and her grappling capability. And that's not knocking Julianna's grappling capability, because Julianna has a very solid grappling base, but a very solid grappling base does not, even by any means, compare to what Kayla Harrison is and has accomplished in grappling. We're talking about a gold medalist, judo practitioner in Kayla Harrison. Not to mention that Kayla Harrison's frame is also terrifying for women. I think she has a good chance of beating Julianna. I really do. But Julianna, if she comes as the best form of Julianna, we have a fight on our hands. We really do. But if I had to choose, if I had to put money on it, I think Kayla Harrison is a future champion, and I think that she has a good chance of that being accomplished with Julianna Peña. And we could be seeing a triangle forming here with Julianna, Kayla, and Amanda Nuñes. Now, Amanda Nuñes' return is really pivotal. I think that Julianna winning is probably not enough for Amanda to come back. Like I said in the past video, I don't think that Julianna Peña has enough weight and enough momentum behind her to have Amanda Nuñes come back. But Kayla Harrison, I think she has enough. Because if we want to look at legacy here, Amanda Nuñes has done it all. She's beat the who's who's. But I can see it coming to a fact where Kayla Harrison is dominating all the women in that division, and then people are saying, well, Amanda Nuñes, you have not beaten Harrison. So you have not completed your gauntlet of wiping out anybody who poses you any threat. And I think Kayla Harrison poses a massive threat to anybody she fights because of her grappling pedigree. That's important, people. That's important, and I think we're going to see a massive shift, a massive progression in that particular division. It's one of the more interesting divisions, despite the lack of competition that I see in this list. So comment down below, people, what you think about Julianna Peña and her being a champion and who she should fight next. Do you have her beating Kayla Harrison? And if she beats Kayla Harrison, will that push Amanda Nuñes to come back into play? If Kayla Harrison beats Julianna Peña, will that push Amanda Nuñes to come into play? Like I said, this is a potential triangle matchup that we could be seeing. So, comment down below, people, what you think about this. I'd love to get your opinion on what we're seeing out of this bantamweight women's division, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.